Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. All the stories told on this show are either fabricated, alleged, or didn't happen at all and shouldn't be used in the court of law. We hope. Cool. Welcome to the Interrogation True Crime Stories podcast. I'm your host, Corey David, and today we have a special guest in Los Angeles, Steve Hernandez. How are you doing?
Yeah, incredible.
Yeah, man. I'm always excited to see what you got going on. Like I had a pleasure meeting you in New York. That was such a fun trip. You know how sometimes when you're traveling or maybe even locally, you just happen to be on all the same shit, like while you're in town or whatever. I was glad I got to see your set like multiple times. Like you're so goddamn funny. And I had never even seen your comedy before. So it was a real treat, man. I was happy to be there.
Thanks so much, Corey. You're great too. It was great to meet you. I had an incredible trip. It's very hard. I'm from Los Angeles, and I was calling my wife every night and saying we just have to move out here because New York is such a dream for a comedian. I mean, like that was my 6th trip there,
Yeah.
and every time I go, it's like better and better, and I hate that I'm not there because Los Angeles is not a stand-up comedy town.
Well, as part of it too, that you grew up in LA, yes?
Yeah, and I've never lived anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
So I know this sounds, I mean, you could probably appreciate this because are you from Denver?
I'm from upstate New York originally. I've been in Denver for a little over 4 years now.
Okay, well, I've never, I mean, just taking the train places is something I love about Chicago and even Philadelphia. You really feel like you're living whenever you're going anywhere. You're walking, even if it takes you 45 minutes to get to the place, you're around people. I'm seeing babes on the train reading Nietzsche. You know what I mean? It's just like, wow, this is incredible. So, yeah. I mean, I absolutely, I loved it. That was a great trip. But yeah, everything's going pretty good for me. It's St. Patrick's Day. I don't know when you're going to release this, but I bartend at a bar called the Chatterbox, and it's St. Patrick's Day on a Friday night, and we're having a DJ. So I am full on. I couldn't sleep because I'm going to war tonight.
Yeah, I was gonna say, are you just are you dreading what the rest of the weekend's gonna be? I mean, it's just usually like a bar fest. I worked in the beer industry for 8 years, so drinking holidays and me I stopped caring about them a long time ago because I mean, you work at a bar, there's always an excuse to drink. You know, there's always like a night out or whatever. So I just avoided these things like the plague. But I did see one of my Facebook memories that popped up today was like a St. Patty's Day bingo board that I'd made like 10 years ago. There's like a fight, somebody crying, somebody pissing, shitting themselves.
No, I'm excited. I just the only reason why I care about it is I want to break some sales records at the bar I work at. So and I've been training my wife to bartend, so she's gonna start working there, so that's gonna be a big one for her. I'm basically gonna rove, make sure that we're gonna have 3 bartenders on tonight. We typically have 2, and then I'm just gonna be roving to make sure that there's no fights, or if people are having sex, they're using condoms, that kind of thing.
Yeah, it's like we're fine with you banging in the stalls, but we want to be safe,
or at least you pull out. No,
well, if you're gonna pull out, you better have a condom. That's just a lot of stains you got to clean up at the end of the night.
Dude, I'm telling you, man. I'm from Covina, West Covina. That's like a suburb of Los Angeles. That's where the bar is. And there, I know I have 3 friends that got caught. I'm telling you, I don't know what's up with these guys coming in women. Like these guys are coming in women without condoms. But I'm telling you, a Mexican woman has no shame. They'll take that baby. Yeah. I'm telling you, I have 3 friends that just one night stands. I mean, they have no shame. You'll see a Mexican girl at a baby shower just by herself with the fence, these balloons. She doesn't care. She got a baby.
You're like, I'm in it. I'm here for the full commitment. Like, if we're going to bang, like, I'm going to carry this thing through.
Just pull out, man. I mean, they're going to have a kid. They are not getting abortions. I don't know what you're thinking.
And pulling out can be fun. That's what a lot of people don't realize. It's just like now all of a sudden you're in this moment where you just got to have target practice, and you're like, I've been training for this, just see how far you can get it.
I'm very fortunate. I haven't really had any real pregnancy scares in my life. I just recently It's funny because my wife, her name's Julia Loken. She's a stand-up comic and she has a big astrology podcast too. But we just decided she's decided she wanted to have a kid. So I just came in her for the first time.
Wow.
On her, no, I come in her all the time, but on her when she's ovulating and she's not on any birth control or anything. So like 2 days in a row, like a few times, like let's put a deposit in,
Hell
let's
yeah.
try for a baby. But then she wanted to quit her job. That's why I'm training her to bartend, and I was like, well, we're gonna have to put this off for another year. So,
Yeah, I mean, if you're
yeah,
going to be intentionally nutting, there has to be a plan. There's got to be some kind of follow up here. It's like you can't quit your job and want to have a baby.
that's it.
Those
That's
things don't go
exactly
together.
what I told her. I was like, you gotta be making some real money again
Yeah,
until before you get this come again. So.
yeah, your hand modeling career has to take off. You run a show at Chatterbox too, right? Like how long's that been going?
That's right. Chatterbox Comedy Night's been going since as long as I've been doing stand-up, since 2010. It was a monthly the first year, twice a month the second year, and then we've been going weekly ever since. We're starting a brand new monthly show in downtown Los Angeles at a different bar called the Chatterbox that has nothing to do with us.
What?
Some
Really?
some two
There's not
years
enough names?
2 years ago, a bar group bought some other bar and renamed it Chatterbox. And even though we're 20 miles away in the suburbs, we're a pretty famous enough bar where they knew they were biting our name. They call it Chatterbox Los Angeles. We were pissed, but through some finagling from one of our producers, we managed to score the ability to have a monthly show there. So we're pretty fucking psyched. We have like a whole army of young Latino comics that we're anxious to bring downtown, and that starts on Wednesday, April 5th. So we're very excited about that. Yeah.
That's dope. Yeah, would you just threaten to break all their windows if you didn't do it?
No, but it's gonna be great. We're gonna have a DJ. It's gonna be incredible. I'm really looking forward to it. But yeah, it is like hysterical. It's funny because my boss at the Chatterbox, he's always been very gracious. He's always been supportive of the show. He's my older brother's best friend since we were little. Like when he bought the Chatterbox in 2007, I've been there for 16 years. He had in mind, even though I must have just been talking about doing stand up because I didn't start it for a few years. I would throw like weird shows. The first show I threw, I didn't know about open mics. I didn't know about anything. Is a few of us like bartenders at TGI Fridays threw a show at a house because some guy got fired and we gave all the money to him. But I
Oh,
didn't know I didn't know how to write jokes. So I would throw like shows a few times a year at places and then just go up and talk. But
yeah.
it was not stand up. I did not know about anything like that until 2010 and where I started doing open mics and stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, you probably had enough wherewithal that you're like, I can just go up and talk. And especially if it's people you know, if it's like a house party or something, you already have that built-in familiarity, like a touch, right? Like,
Sure, but I was wrong. I was very bad for the first couple of years.
yeah.
But what are you gonna do? But it's funny. His name's Ralph. He's the owner of the Chatterbox, and he trusts me with everything. He's very supportive, but the fact that we're kind of taking this thing to another bar, I had to comfort him and tell him, hey man, it's never gonna mess up with your thing. It's 20 miles away, it's downtown. But it is nice. The industry doesn't have all stand-ups respect this show. It's one of the best shows in the country. People love this fucking show, but the industry does not respect it because it's in Covina. So it's going to be nice to try to get some industry cred when we move it downtown.
Yeah, actually get a little return for all the investment that you're putting in and like the good people you're having on the show. And yeah, dude, I remember when I first started doing stand up, there was a club that opened down the street from my house where I was living in upstate. And I, at the time, was writing like a lot of short stories. And I was like, oh, this will be a great way for me to go get feedback about my short stories like that. And it was the worst idea. It was a terrible, terrible idea. As you know, like storytelling's hard, right? And it still has to have beats to it.
Wait, I'm sorry. Hold on. So there was a story. So you went to a storytelling show and
No,
tried.
I
What
just went
was
to
it?
an open mic.
What, like 5 minutes?
Yeah, just doing like, because they're all short stories. So I'm just like, I can squeeze one of these in 5 minutes, you know?
That's really funny.
Yeah, terrible idea. So bad. But I at least knew I liked it enough that I'm like, okay, I want to keep doing this. It seemed fun.
Yeah. I mean, good. How long have
Yeah.
you been doing stand up for?
6 years.
Oh, that's great. Yeah.
Yeah, man. I'm enjoying it. I'm actually,
Finally figuring shit out. I love year 5 and 6, man. You're like, I'm great. You could do 30, right?
yeah. Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
see, that's great.
I'm doing my first full like headlining weekend at a club this weekend. So I'm pretty excited about that.
Awesome. Congratulations. That's so cool. I'm gonna do mine at a place called Savage Henry in Eureka on
Mhm.
April 15th and 16th. That's my first two full headlining sets in a row.
Yeah,
It's a
dope.
Friday and Saturday. Yeah, I'm getting paid $200 each night. I'm probably losing money on the trip, but
Whatever.
just the fact I just did a bunch of shows in the Bay. I mean, that's the thing about Los Angeles. I mean, Denver's probably a little better in the surrounding area, but you guys are pretty. There's a lot of fucking comics where you're at now too, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of comics, and one of the things that I think people like about this scene is that it pays pretty well. Like people can come and you actually can make money doing shows here, as opposed to other towns where the pay rate is not as high. You can make it a little more worth your time. And there's like a combination of showcases and legit like pro shows with a headliner. Usually you're only doing 30 max anyway, but yeah, there's a lot of opportunity for that stuff here. So it makes it like I've been doing like headlining spots here for a little over a year, but to have 5 shows in a weekend where I'm doing like at least half an hour, I'm really looking forward to it. It'll be fun.
It's work.
Yeah. Give me 1 second. I got to go grab my charger. I'll edit this out later.
Yeah.
Do, 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 do. Okay. And we're good to go. Yeah, I mean, so on Saturday in particular, they do a 6, 8, and a 10 show. And I've done that before, but just not headlining or whatever. Dude, it's a gauntlet. Like you get there at 5:45, you're there until midnight.
That's stupid. do people go to all three of those shows?
I mean, yeah, I mean, not the same people, you
I
hope,
know, but still, I've never even heard of that. 6,
yeah,
8, and 10.
I know. I'm tired. I'm gonna eat like yeah. It'll be a long day, but I'm looking forward to like having. I'm also just really happy with where my material is right now. I feel like a lot of this stuff that I've been working on in the past couple months has just come to me like really naturally, and it's like kind of fits this like silly goofy vibe that I have, and that I've been trying to kind of curtail a lot of my material around. I don't know if you get this at all, but a lot of times like I used to be really diligent about like I gotta write for half an hour like every day. I just gotta do it. And I feel like more recently, I've kind of treated it like dating in the sense, you know how people always say you'll find somebody when you're not looking? I've had that with material recently. It's like instead of forcing myself to come up with ideas, I'm kind of just not thinking about it as much, and I'll just think of a silly, stupid thing, and I'll be like, "Oh, cool, let's try that." And then I'll try whatever the original idea is on stage, and then write stuff after I find the beats to it.
Yeah, yeah, that's how you have to do it. You have to do a lot of open micing in Los Angeles because stage time's so scarce. But
Mhm.
that's kind of okay for me too. I don't feel comfortable really. I've never felt comfortable like trying out stuff in front of real people. I've just grown up in LA, so it's time's so precious. I want to like kill. That it to some extent that I think that could be detrimental. But generally I need to write jokes at open mics.
Yeah,
And so yeah, I just find you just keep going and you look stupid enough at the open mics that your brain starts to like get cooking because it doesn't want you to look stupid. I mean,
yeah,
it really isn't on me. I don't know. It's on my brain. It's not on me. I can't fucking write this I don't come up with this shit. So so yeah, but just like you, I recently just cracked like, I would get a little chunk, something here or there. And we have the Chatterbox open mic every Thursday, and it's like a show. and it's like jam packed with real people and comics. And I go up. Everyone gets 3 minutes, but I always go up first and do 8 or 9 or something like that. So I'm always like, these kids are like biting at my heels. I'm always have to go up every week and fucking stunt.
Yeah.
And so I'm always like digging, and I'll get a little something here or there, but just recently, like a fucking like 15 to 20 minutes just like dropped on me out of
Mhm.
nowhere, almost wholly formed. And I haven't had a big chunk like that in I'm honestly years probably.
Yeah.
So yeah, when it comes, like I'm so excited, but yeah, the longer I do it, the more it's like I don't have any control over this. I mean, there are people who write jokes. I'm not that kind of guy. I like a whole big chunk. I like a thesis sentence. I like all that kind of stuff. So that's on my brain, bro.
Yeah, I can't be held liable, but I'm down to see where it goes.
Yeah, exactly.
Great. All right, let's get into some dumb crimes that I found on the internet this week. I'll read the headline. You give me your first general impression of it, okay?
Yes.
Georgia man charged with biting off part of girlfriend's ear, police say. Any thoughts?
Um, let's see here. Um
I'm just thinking it's foreplay gone wrong. Like, were they just reenacting like the Tyson Holyfield fight? Like that's where their sex life's taken them.
Oh man, that's no, I can't think of anything funny. It feels tragic to me, but I do think it's funny that they clearly say that it's just part of the year. I do
Yeah,
like that.
yeah. He
Like,
didn't get the whole bite.
it's fine. You know, it was a nibble, it was something. But oh my God, this poor woman, this poor, I don't want to say this poor guy because he obviously hurt the woman, but I mean, what kind of a life have they lived?
I don't
What's
know.
going on with this poor fucking person? Both of them.
Is it anger and hunger? Is that what it's resorted to? Like, I've had
It-
angry sex and I've also had hungry sex, but I've never like let the two overlap each other.
well, because this is what happens, you end up chewing, you don't want to be eating someone out because you're hungry, you want it to be for pure pleasure.
Yeah, this is maybe he just got his wires crossed, and when she asked to eat me out, like this is what he thought it was gonna be. Like, why? What? I thought I was just doing what you wanted.
Oh my God. It's so funny. I know we're like joking about this, but I'm like picturing just two drunk people and like I'm picturing a red-faced man with a beard, just like, but this is the lowest point
Yeah,
maybe in his life where he's ripping. I don't know why I have all the sympathy for the man.
I don't know either. I
Yeah,
was gonna
yeah,
say
yeah.
this guy. I mean, again, like it could have just been an honest mistake, but probably not.
No, no, no. I mean, that's what I stopped drinking over 4 years ago, but I'm just thinking of all the fights I've had with different women when and luckily I've never been physical with anyone, but just the fury you feel when you're drunk. Though, I mean, the person was obviously drunk or on drugs,
Yeah.
and just the fury you would feel, and then the next day just say, "What the fuck." Oh my God, I'm far too empathetic for this. I don't know if these crime stories are going to work on me the way you planned on them.
No, that's okay. I mean, like I always try to focus on things that are not like murders and stuff, 'cause I'm like profiting off the tragedy. But this was just like, man, that's pretty stupid.
Have you read the rest of the story? Do you know what happened?
Yeah, so it seems like it was just a matter of like the guy was dancing with like another girl at the club and they got into a fight about it. So when they went home, it was they just got into a fight. Why he resorted to an ear bite, I'm not quite sure. I think maybe that's just like also a strange first move in a fight. Like I'm not much of a fighter, Steve. I don't really know. I try to look more intimidating than I actually am sometimes just because like he seems kind of in shape. I don't want to mess with him. And because I hope they don't. So like this, a bite of any kind wouldn't necessarily be my first move.
Well, nobody said it was his first move. It was definitely
Yeah.
his last one,
This is a last ditch effort. He's getting his ass kicked by this lady and he just goes for a chump.
Oh man, when was the last time you danced with a woman at the club?
When I was at a young enough age where I thought going to the club was fun. It's not my vibe.
I mean, it's been 20 years for me. I'm not even kidding. Since I've been to the club, it's been 20 years. I never, yeah, that just sounds so funny. It always makes me laugh whenever a stand-up comic starts like a joke with, if he has a the club chunk, that always makes me laugh.
Yeah, so I was hanging at the club, just yelling at people instead of having a conversation. I don't love it. All right, next one. German man arrested for assault after punching his friend 11 times for a fight they had in a sauna about the length of their penises.
Wow, that's great. That's great.
I love duking it out in a sauna like it's a WWE cage match.
Well, they don't say what the fight is either, by the way. It just said it is a fight about the length. Maybe what do you think the fight was about?
The fight was about the length of their dicks. What are you talking about?
Should not like some guy saying, no, this is definitely 6 inches, that kind of a thing. This is definitely 6 inches. And he's like, that's not 6.
Yeah, it's more about a lie. Somebody's just like, yeah, I got quite the hog here. I'm at least 8. And he's like, dude, no, you're not. Get over yourself.
This is for real happened to me is my ex-girlfriend, a couple of them ago, her name was Marcy. But I would go around saying my cock was 6 inches, and I must have measured it at some point. I wouldn't just say that. I don't remember measuring it, but I remember her at some point said, your dick isn't 6 inches. and we measured it, and it was 5.5 inches. So,
oh no.
Yeah.
Dude, there's a margin of error there. I think everybody's allowed half an inch either way.
I just don't like how she was vehemently against the 6 inches thing. Okay.
Like, listen, I've seen a lot of dicks, okay, and a lot of 6 inchers, and there's something off.
She hadn't seen any other dicks but my dick. So I guess that's the question is I should have asked her, where did she get off eyeballing 6 inches like that? Where was she so sure that she could eyeball a nice 6 inches?
Yeah, dude, I haven't had a good old fashioned dick measuring contest since I was about 15. So it's been a while.
That was a long time ago. I'm afraid to measure it now. What if it's shrunk in my old age? I'm very scared.
Point, I always just tell people I've got a strong tongue. So no matter what.
Well, I'm old enough to know. I don't, I'm a big L Word fan, and I hang out with a ton of queer people. I identify as queer. So to me, I know anybody who knows anything knows that your biggest fear is not like another guy. It is like these alpha lesbian, like super sexy masculine, like lesbian. So they don't even have dicks. So that's that obviously has nothing to do with anything. So yeah, I'm definitely not worried about that. But I love that these have you been to a sauna with a guy?
Yeah. I love a sauna.
You've been with guy friends before?
Yeah.
I just recently, we have one here in LA. We have something called We Spa that I'd heard about. And I've got a few, the only people who my guy friends that have gone, I know for sure have big ass pieces. And they've all been like, we gotta go. And I said I'm 5.5 inches. That's when I'm hard. Right. When I'm not hard, I mean, I might as well be an infant. It is very little. And I'm not going to walk around this fucking thing hard. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's the flex. Just like, I'm just trying to keep up with you guys. They're like, where's Steve? He's just in the bathroom stall trying to fluff himself up.
So I had never gone. I don't know why either. Like I said, I'm queer. I've had sex with guys. I'm very sex forward. I know none of this stuff matters. But I'm telling you, I just went a couple months ago with Julia. And there's a co-ed middle place, but then there's a guy floor and a girl floor. And the guy floor, everyone was naked, and it was fucking awesome. And right away, I'm like, oh, nobody gives a fucking shit. It's like, yeah, and this is like mobsters. This is like old Italian man, Japanese man. They don't give a fuck. This is what men do. They're just naked around each other, and they don't give a fuck. It's incredible.
That's the thing. You don't even think about it. Plus, you got the personality to boot. So whatever you're lacking in inches, you can make up for in charisma, buddy.
Yeah, but I'm not chatting up any of these naked guys. Okay?
Yeah. So the article says that a fight broke out between the host and his guest at the sauna, which ended with a heated fight about the length of their penises. All involved were already significantly drunk. One of the men supposedly poured beer over the sauna stones.
What a detail. That's a great detail. I do love punched 11 times. Also, incredible detail. I mean, Who was
Who
counting?
counted?
Who was
Who
counting?
counted and then reported it to
Yeah.
like put it in the report? He's like, was it the guy getting punched or was it like again WWE when they've got like somebody on the turnbuckle?
Whoa, dude, 11 times is a lot of times.
Did you just nail somebody in the face?
That's a lot.
I love that.
Wasted.
Yeah. So I guess it could see this being just like a good night out, and then it just ends in a drunken brawl, and you're butt naked, sweaty, and then everybody else is like, "Get these guys the hell out of here. We're trying to relax." That's fun. All right, man. Well, thank you. I mean, like, I'm glad you're on the show. What did you have for us today? What did you want to share?
All right. I've been, I don't know. I've had a lot of interesting crimes that I've committed. Nothing that crazy, but I will tell you when you mentioned this podcast and what it's about. I was when I graduated 8th grade, the week after we graduated 8th grade, I went to Disneyland with a couple of friends and I stole something and I got arrested
What?
at Disneyland. Yeah.
Dude, did you go to like Disney jail or did you they
Oh
actually
yeah.
wow.
Oh no, there's a Disney jail. It's I mean Disneyland is a city, but I obviously didn't know this. I'm an idiot. I was in love with this girl Chrissy Gill in 8th grade, and we had just graduated 8th grade, and Chrissy and her sister and her boyfriend, our friend Jenny, my friend Richard, there's like 4 8th graders and these two like people who were maybe 19 or something. And I don't know even where I had the money to go to Disneyland but I had the money. Maybe it's from 8th grade graduation.
Made it happen.
So it was like $60 or something like that. But I didn't have any more than that. Now, my older brother told me, he gave me like $20 and he said, I want you to buy me a keychain for me and my girlfriend. Disneyland has these keychains of like Mickey, like leaning against a J and Mickey like leaning against an A. He's like, give me a J and an A. Here's $20. So I had this $20. Like I said, I'm in love with this girl, Chrissy Gill, and so
and $20 can spend a long way for love when you're that age.
I mean, I'm just like, yeah, we're going to Disneyland with these 2 girls. I'm in love with her. Right when we get in the park, and so to me, I'm like, you know what? I'll just steal those keychains and I'll keep the $20.
Yeah, easy to steal. A couple keychains, slip them right into the pocket.
Okay, so right when you walk into Disneyland, I don't know if you've ever been, there's like a Main Street thing. And I know these keychains are at this magic shop that right when you walk in. So right when we get in there, Chrissy and Jenny go like, oh, we're gonna go like down, we're gonna go to this thing and we'll meet you guys back here in a half hour. So me and Rich are there. We go to this magic shop. I see the keychains. I mean, I grab them, but I'm telling you, Corey, I was like fumbling with them. I was like, but
like making it super obvious.
Yeah. I mean, it was bad. I was not smooth at all.
Like all of a sudden you forget how to use your hands completely. And also I love that you didn't waste any time.
It was right when we walked in the thing. It's the morning. And so I shove in my pocket and then me and Richard go and we kind of sit in these benches still on Main Street, right when you walk in the park. Yeah. And I go, you know what? I said, I think I'm going to go steal one for Chrissy too.
Oh, you went back. Yeah. How much were the keychains, by the way?
I don't know, $10, $15.
Okay, so what you would have had to spend the $20 and then you wouldn't be able to get a gift for your girl.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. So I was riding high on the first theft, and I was like,
bro, you got
steal
adrenaline pumping. You're a criminal.
Yeah. So I go and I fumble around and I get the fucking C for Chrissy, and then we go sit back on this. Me and Richard go and sit back on this bench on Main Street, and we're sitting there for like I don't know 1 or 2 minutes, and then this old woman walks up to us. And Richard scoots over. Like I think he thought she wanted to sit down. And then she goes, are we going to do this the hard way or the easy way? And
oh, no. I would imagine these people also have this kind of stuff scripted like a Disney movie.
Yeah. I mean, I'm 14 years old right now, so I'm not going to fight this. If I was smart, I would have just ran or something, Now,
when she came over, were you sweating it at all? Like, did you have any impulse in you that like, oh, shit?
No, I didn't it took us a couple of seconds to figure it out, and I was like, ah man, we're getting popped. I didn't think about secret shop. I mean, I was an idiot. I didn't think about secret shoppers. I didn't think about anything like that.
For sure.
And then I said, so I was like, oh, just let him go. He didn't do anything. And she was like, all right. So they take me back, and I see there's this whole city. It's like an underground. We go underground this thing, and then we open up to this whole like city, Disneyland thing, like a whole thing that's going on back there. And I legit get taken to a room that is straight out of a police show with the hanging desk light. No joke.
Yeah, so they even set up their jail like like a movie scene.
Yes, I mean, in retrospect, it makes me laugh.
Yeah.
But I was a good kid. I went to church and stuff. I did not like. I just it's so fun. And then two detectives come in with like the shirt sleeves rolled up with the loosened tie. I swear to God, I can't make this stuff
How
up.
many times do you think they do this a day? Probably. They're like, all right, we got to run the scene back.
I mean, yeah, it's got to be. They must. I mean, when I think about it, because I started weeping like right away, and they're like, empty out your pockets, and I empty out my pockets, and they're like, there's $30. You could have bought the keychains right there, and I was like, but I wouldn't have had anything to eat.
I was gonna be here all day. I wanted a candy apple.
Yeah. They're like, oh, you're so great, you're stupid, And they called my mom, and I remember my mom. And West Covina is like an hour away. I mean, I'm glad that my mom was even able to. I can't remember her work situation, but I remember my little sister was in the back seat too. And she's like 5 or 6. She must have been like 8, and she was just like, damn. And so they just put me back there, and then my mom was so pissed, and I went home, and my dad was like, I can't believe my son's a thief. And he was
Oh
like, I can't even look at him.
no.
Yeah. So for that summer, I legit I was grounded. I've never been grounded like this before, but I was allowed to go to football practice, but I stayed in my room for the whole summer in the bedroom.
Dude.
Yeah. My dad's like, I don't even want to look at you. And they would like bring me a plate of food. But I in my room.
Like you're in the what do they call it? The hole?
Yeah, the whole in my room, not even the living room. Like straight up just sitting in my room all summer after football practice because of getting popped at Disneyland.
Oh my God. Did your friends have a great time that day?
I'm sure they did. It's so funny. But Chrissy, we all went off to separate. She went to Bishop Aumont, which is a Catholic school, and her dad was like a sheriff commander. It was always like never gonna be in the cards for us, but there must have been something in her that said like, God, this guy's a fucking criminal. Or like what a loser. Because we kind of, I mean, we were gonna probably lose touch anyways because of high school, but
Yeah.
I know there was something where she was like, man, this guy's a fucking loser.
Yeah, I can't believe I wanted to make it. I was gonna make out with that guy.
Yeah, she was never gonna make out with me. She was never.
You were
Yeah.
hoping for an opportune time in the teacup ride, just kind of like.
I don't know what I was hoping for. I was a loser. I was, she was like my best friend, and it's a long story, but I was always pining. Now I know better. But at the time it was never gonna happen. Did you? I mean, I probably had 3 unrequited loves in 8th, 9th, and 10th grade, like girls that I was just in love with. And then you figure out like, oh, just fall in love with people that like you back. But
Yeah, I would get infatuated really easy at a young age, and I would just
yeah,
get obsessed, and then I was all over the place though. Like I would, when back in middle school or whatever, you'd date somebody for like a week, and then you'd go start dating somebody else like a couple weeks later. I was definitely golden retriever energy. I was all over the damn place. But yeah, it's that young love, man, makes you do crazy things.
and it makes you commit crimes, and
Yeah.
that's where I was at. Yeah.
Yeah, and for another woman that would probably be a hairdresser right now, she would have been all over that.
Absolutely.
Yeah, man. All right. Well, thank you very much for joining the show, dude. It's always it's a pleasure talking to you, and I'm hoping I get to see you again. Get out to Denver, man. Like we'd love to have you again.
I will plan something very soon. I really need to. I'm trying to go someplace once a month. And then please let me know with as much notice as possible when you're coming out to LA. You do
Yeah.
great at the Chatterbox.
That would be dope, man. So plug all your stuff so people know where to find you.
You can find me at Big Hearn on Twitter. I've got a crazy Gwyneth Paltrow tweet going wildly viral right now over
Oh, I
there.
think I saw that. That's great.
I have a meme thing that I do. I love white women. My wife's white, but I like posting when white women are being white women, and I
Yeah.
write white women will destroy your life. And obviously I love white women, but I wrote that over Gwyneth Paltrow talking about her diet, which I don't care. She's just blathering on about her diet, and I would truly love to listen to Gwyneth Paltrow talk like about her diet forever. I just love white women. I'd love to watch her skinny ass just talk about this shit. So
Yeah.
I didn't mean anything, but the internet like was like, she's got an eating disorder. They're like going crazy. But I'm seeing these huge accounts like reposting my tweet with her talking about it. It's the funniest thing.
That's
So I'm
great.
at Big Hern on Twitter and Hernia on Instagram. And if you're in the LA area, go check out Chatterbox Comedy Night every Sunday at 8 and then downtown LA for the first Wednesday every month. Thanks
All
for
right.
having me on, Corey.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, tune into Steve for all your white lady gossip on the internet and everywhere. Go to my website, CoreyDavid.com, if you want to check out my local and tour dates that are coming up. We will be doing a live version of Interrogation in April down in Albuquerque at Dry Heat Comedy Club and in Santa Fe at Wayward Comedy. So grab tickets to that. You can check that on my website. And then go to Interrogation True Crime on Instagram. You can follow my account at Fake Corey David. And all right, bro. Thanks for joining the show.
Thank you.